All right, so we'll call the Conservation Commission meeting to order. Since this is a hybrid meeting, virtual and in person, we ask that anybody that's joining us virtually, which doesn't look like it's happening yet, mute until they're ready to speak, and then we'll use our hands. We don't talk over one another and get feedback. So Dylan, yeah, sure, thank you. Carl Lewis,
Present.
Michael DiLorenzo, present.
Rob Ramsey, present.
Guy Hoffman, present.
So we have four. We have number of 3 boxes, so we're doing it. Okay. So absent would be,
Yeah, I'll take care of that.
so. Okay, so Jim Mahoney was supposed to join us. He has a half-hour window, and we're gonna let him on first. He's gonna talk about POCD, ask us about signs and some other open space questions. So I guess we'll have to wait on that.
I can fill in if you want me to. I mean,
on
I'm
POCD.
one, just to move things along when he gets on. I know he's got.
Yeah.
He's got. I ended up getting 5 responses where everybody had.
I think,
Yeah.
first make a motion to add to the agenda. It should have been carried over from last time, but POCD. is-
Yeah, can we add the POCD worksheet? Comments?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you. Thank you, guy. Okay,
So, Tom Heisler pretty much said he thought everything was a high priority. And I do have like his specific comments on a couple of things. Mary Catherine had a hard time trying to get the filled out one emailed to me, so I haven't received that. She said she may call in to try to get those to go. So I have 5 people that responded with low, medium, and high. I converted that into a number system of high at 3, medium 2, low 1, and then just took the average from those. I did send that right before the meeting before I left the house to Jim Mahoney, so he was he's been able to take a look at it before he gets
Pull
on.
that up if you want to. He sent it to me.
Oh, he did, okay, perfect, because I running out of paper, I didn't know how many of us were gonna be here and stuff, so I don't have copies yet of this.
I couldn't find the fillable one either, so I just printed it out, checked it off, and scanned it.
So it does show, even with Tom's, which I didn't include in there, his would all be high, so the scores would be
Further down.
a little bit higher than what they're showing. But that doesn't really change which ones are the highest priorities by their system, you know,
We're all the same.
yeah,
Dylan,
and the lowest. Yeah,
Going down.
I didn't get a chance to try to change the font size for all those, but that's what's on the form. So a 3.0 means that everybody put it as high. A medium priority would be 2.0, so something in between. So like the 2.6, 2.8 are all. 2.8 is like one person said medium, the others were high. But it does kind of, we have a range of I think it's 1.8 to 3.0, so it does separate out some of the things as higher and lower priority. Yeah, I think at this point, you can take a quick scan. There were 9 that were unanimous, 3.0. That ends up being pretty clear.
If I can add it, when I was doing, in my mind, I kept thinking, if we had some sort of budget we knew we had to work with, and how much these things might potentially cost, I think that would have been, because I kind of agree with Tom, that from my perspective, and what we do, they're all high,
Right.
but I tried to break it up, a little bit, and some I didn't really know much about, so those tended to get low just because of my lack of knowledge, maybe.
And that's how I felt a bit too. I mean, this is the area of the POCD that falls kind of within our realm.
Right,
So,
exactly.
so it's not a bad thing or whatever to think that they're all a high priority, because they're all things that we, run across or have an interest in. So they should all be on the high end, you would think, anyway, for priority. If you had a different commission that looked at it, their numbers would be different.
Right.
And a lot lower. I mean, there were some interesting things in there that talk about a new position potentially in town for somebody that's an environmental position. Which I think is really what, for some of these things, that's what's really needed to be able to accomplish these goals. Right.
One year location trip. So I think
front yards. Well, part of the reason that might be is because it's already done in a sense. That's it's possible right now. They've acquired land, do this conservation area, you can take it off right now and do it. Just
You're saying that top one?
no, I think Michael said, see where it says relocate the Metacomet Trail off private property and into Blue Hills Conservation Area in the vicinity of Summitwood Drive. For those of you who don't know, a longstanding tradition that the Metacomet Trail comes and they negotiated whatever it is, and it runs through about 3 houses, the front yards between, I guess it's Summitwood Drive and the houses themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not optimal. It's nobody's favorite section of the trail, but I believe that now the town owns everything to the railroad tracks to the south, so you can take it off. It's just I don't think CFPA has gotten to it.
and this guy, infamous Webster Park.
Yeah, that whole section there didn't get the great, the scores that until the last couple, but those first few didn't get the scores that you see elsewhere. And yeah, Woodlawn
Familiar
is
with Webster Park?
No, so that, I know I put that probably as low, thinking I needed to put something as low. I'm not familiar with that. I wasn't familiar with, what was the other, Woodlawn
GIS?
parcel?
Yeah, that's the one with the water.
By the way, Mr. Mahoney, I believe.
Oh, that we talked about before?
That's mostly wetlands
Yeah,
and
oh, okay.
off of the Palmer Turnpike
Right.
and trying to
So, does he have access to his email?
Yes, I do. Do you have
Yeah.
access?
You have a limited
Okay,
budget.
I just,
That
I
would be
just,
important to me.
Compared to
sent
the
out
other-
the new link.
And I think that's how we kind of looked at that.
Yeah.
that Ragged Mountain.
Well, you don't have to call it up, but what's the park is on, 72 by Route 9, what's Route 9?
Right, yeah, he was just,
Towards the fairgrounds.
Yeah, that's, it, yeah.
How many
Oh,
acres is
yeah.
that?
okay.
A couple of hundred?
Oh, it's a
Yeah,
good
it's a good
size.
size, but we,
Maybe 10 years or so, we think about
how do you get in there?
So I think it was possible that they were thinking about a link between fairgrounds or around the fairgrounds.
There was
I don't wanna
a-
say
there was-
that for the
There
record.
was a property too, that, south of the fairgrounds that was gonna, that actually we have a little access point, I think, but it's still all wet.
Yeah, it's really wet. It's really wet coming in
Yeah.
coming in from the east. It's too
And,
wet.
and off of 372, they
Forget
don't
it.
wanna, they don't wanna put
Forget
anything, you know,
That's-
it's a roadway, it's.
I can tell you from my other volunteer job that don't even drive there. This is one of the most dangerous spots in town.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, coming off of 9 and that whole thing, sightline sunk. Just,
Yeah.
there would be no access. You know that gate?
Yeah.
On 370, or on Mill Street, 372, forget it.
Yeah.
It's just not gonna happen.
No,
So
there's
I
no
think, I
access.
think that for some of it, that's, you know, I'm going like, we kind of hit that one. You know, kind of hit our heads against the wall on that it's not as big a priority.
At this point.
At this point, I think
Yeah, that's
if
the
anything
application.
ever happens,
There's Jim.
if anything ever happens with,
Hi, Jim.
Hey, guys.
the fairgrounds, then maybe something changes with that.
So Jim, we're just going over the POCD that you kindly emailed back to Dylan, so it's right up on the screen.
Sounds good.
Want to scroll down? Is that it?
I think that's it.
In the section? Yeah, thank you.
Everything was good to me.
Everything else, yeah.
Cool, thank you. Hey, Jim, I know you're short, got only a small amount of time. Wanted to talk about signs a little bit?
Sure. And I was just going to back up. I know you guys already went through the POCD stuff, but when I was looking at it, I guess it sounded like, that that folks were generally in agreement with the recommendations, but different priorities, obviously. So I assume there were none of them you didn't like. And then the only other question is, are there things that you think should be in there that are not? So if you don't have anything spontaneously, think about that, because you can still, add stuff into the mix.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so for signs, I did get some pricing, that I shared with Michael, and we have 3 different categories of signs, let's say, that, like the individual property signs showing that they're Berlin open space. Then we have the signs that we wanted to do for, at Timberland for Amelia Green / Marjorie Moore that we got pricing on. And then the larger, let's say gateway signs for the open space areas. And we got quotes for each one of those. So if you want to, if either at this meeting or next meeting, come up with a direction as to, kind of how many of each you want. Looks like, the 1x3s, those are the smaller ones. He's quoting us 225 plus 100, so 325 per sign. The larger one, it's like 575 plus 200 to install, so 775, 800 for that. And then he's got to do digital prints for those. If for and new gateway signs, so that would be another 100, I guess. So, you know, again, it's just getting the commission, tell us what you want, and then we'll get it in the works.
I'd love to talk about that at the next meeting, if that's.
Sure.
And that's completely up to the commission, but I will note that in my walks since the last meeting, I will note that there's a kiosk sign that's completely down near the end of near the end of Whiteside Road, Bicentennial Park, completely down. I have a photograph of it somewhere. And just today I saw one of our open space signs compromised at the corner of Orchard Road, Kensington Road. So I think maybe it would be good if we could take a look at what we have out there as well. You know what I mean? I don't know if that
Sure.
makes sense.
Yeah,
But
we can get,
there's two, I think that might have been, one of them might have been a snowplow one, and the other, I don't know exactly why the kiosk sign, and it's an older sign, is down at, I'm uncomfortable calling it anything but the dog park. But yes, at Bicentennial Park, at the end of Bicentennial, oh, yes, I'm familiar with that. So and it's completely off its posts and down. So I don't know why.
Is it recent or did it blow down? Because we've had, a couple of big winds.
Yeah, it might have. It may be so rotted that it blew
Yeah.
down, or somebody might have monkey wrenched it down. I don't know. Or it could just have been old age. That happens to the best of us. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Jim, did you said you emailed the pricing of the signs, was that today?
yeah, I think at 9:30 this morning. Did you get it?
I don't check my home email till
Okay.
forever.
So yeah, we can take this up next month, and then if you, Carl, or anybody, from the commission, if you give me an idea of what signs need to be rehabilitated, if, maybe I can get Vital Signs to take a look at them and see if they can be repaired rather than replaced.
And
At some
there's
kind of
one,
lower cost.
Jim, there's one at Kensington and Orchard. I just saw it
Yep.
about an hour ago. It may be able to, somebody may be, grounds might be able to just put it back up to.
Oh, sure, yeah,
The one at Bicentennial, which has been there for quite a while, is not.
wipe out.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's probably, it doesn't owe us anything, if you know what I mean. It's been there.
Yeah, right.
Right. Can I ask if you want to call maybe big open space map and maybe help to come up with a list of existing and future wish list locations?
Yeah, and I can get out to most locations, but yeah, I can get out to most of those locations. Actually, Jim, do you have a list of where we have? I think I know most or all of them, but I just want to make, if I'm gonna go out and take a look, do we know where there are, those, just the basic, seems like yesterday we just placed those basic green signs, Town of Berlin Conservation Area or whatever that is.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have that or not. I think I know most of where they are, but I'll be happy to go and visit them now that
That's another great idea.
Yeah, I'm not sure I know, not necessarily all of them, but pretty
That's
much.
okay,
I'll send
that's all
you-
right. Now
Yeah,
that
I'll send you an email, and, when I was down in December, I looked at a few, and I indicated to Woody that, that we needed some of them needed some cleaning and rehab and, stain the posts and stuff like that. So there's a little bit of maintenance that we need too.
Right.
But make notes what you see too in that regard.
I sure will.
Thank you.
That's great. And just as a reminder, this is, we have that perennial line item for public education that we've been using for the sign. This is where we're at that. And if there are other higher priorities, I guess the fee, the fee in lieu of open space fund too. But we need to know where we are and what we want too. So that'd be great. If you guys could do that.
Awesome.
Yeah, obviously with a $2,500 budget, we're gonna want more than we can afford, but at least, we can identify what our priorities are and get, buy that much and keep on going from there. And it'll be June before you know it, and we can buy the next set, right?
That's true. Okay,
If you will, permit me, Michael, I could give you an update on a few other things we talked about last month.
absolutely, please.
Okay, so I guess a few things we acquired Pistol Creek Properties, as I think most of you all know, in December, so that's done. So the balance of the parcel and the entire former golf course is now owned by Berlin and New Britain. And
Middletown, right?
pardon me?
I think you said New Britain, but I believe you meant Middletown.
Oh, yeah, Middletown, yeah. So I'm working on Middletown with New Britain on the other recreational trails grant thing. So, but at any rate, so so we acquired the parcel in working on the recreational trails grant applications for the Pistol Creek Lamentation Mountain area with Middletown. We've gotten some guidance as a joint application. One of the towns has to take a lead. We're gonna let Middletown take the lead on it, and we're gonna support. We are working on that. We think maybe in a week or so, we'll kind of have a conceptual map of what we're thinking about doing, which would include, trail work on the cart paths and a new connecting trail from Atkins Street through Middletown open space and improvements to the Stantec Road area in Berlin primarily, and maybe some other things, but so we'll have a kind of annotated map and we can share it with you guys at that point. Particularly, and then we are also talking to Hungerford and, kind of refining their ideas about the application. We've been in communication with New Britain, which owns the property, and and they're on board, presumably. I'm still trying to talk to staff, but the mayor said she's on board. And, one of the things in the application is that they're encouraging public participation. And as we've done in previous trail grant applications, what I'd like to request is that we have a public meeting with respect to the trail grant applications at your next meeting. And also, I'm thinking, I'm heading on to the Berlin Land Trust tonight, but if I can convince them, maybe we can have a kind of joint meeting if you're willing, and maybe at the beginning of your meeting, do a joint meeting with the Land Trust and have both of you involved in the public meeting and kind of maybe get a couple extra points for extra effort on our public participation. So are you amenable to that?
Do we need a motion, do you think, sir, to be amenable to have because I certainly think that would be a very strong point on a grant application. So I'd like to make a motion to, and somebody stop me if this is the wrong motion, but to collaborate with the Berlin Land Trust on a public, yeah, I got that part, but public comment portion, public participation portion of a meeting to discuss collaborative grant proposals with the city of New Britain about access to New Britain. Yeah.
And the city of Middletown, yeah.
Oh, in the city of Middletown, yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's good.
No, I can't. Marlo can't. That's Marlo's smart. Marlo's the brains of this whole operation. No, so I think my motion was to, what do you got?
Yeah, have a joint public meeting for the
With the Berlin Land Trust. For public participation regarding grant application for
No open space possible.
trails.
open space and trail.
Middletown. No pressure there, Marlo. We can't figure it out, so you have.
Okay,
Second that.
thank you, Mr. Hoffman. All in favor of the motion is elaborated? Aye. Yeah, so moved. Thank you.
Thank you. Then the only other thing was that, just to credit Carl, he's been working on that Wigwam Road relocation projects for the idea of punching through a trail from Reservoir Road to Ragged Mountain, the end of West Lane. And he sent me the GPS trail, and we got that converted to a PDF today. So we're gonna move forward on that and ask. That's what we're looking at. So we're gonna, go forward, and I guess we're gonna have to go to the town council first. We'll send it to New Britain and just see if they have any comments, but then we've got to, I suppose, before we can relocate it, we've got to decide ourselves that we're willing to relocate it, which why wouldn't we be? And then that being the Wigwam Road easement through the New Britain Water Department property. And then we'll make the formal request to New Britain. So, not on the fast train, but on a slow train, we're making progress, and that's the
Okay,
next step.
Okay, Jim, the chairman has asked me just to talk really quick about
Yes,
where.
please.
So, so the bottom road there, at the bottom of the map is Reservoir Road. I begin that GPS track, the orange GPS track. The orange GPS track begins right there. That's the end of Sanctuary Road and goes north and east by Lower Harts Pond. If you, where's that? Yeah, thank you. If you go a little bit down there, my friend, go down a little bit back.
Sorry.
So there's a little bit further down. Right there. See that little knot there? There's actually a bald eagle nest right there, a couple bald eagle nests. And then if you continue, thank you, right there, that's where Lower Harts Pond impinges on, in other words, the traditional route of Wigwam Road, going back to ancient times. I'm talking like colonial, pre-colonial times. It no longer is passable. So that's why I walked up there, and you'll see it comes back to the traditional route. It comes all, yeah, thank you very much. And then I stopped a little early and cut up, and you can't tell because there's no lines, what do they call that? Elevation lines, topographical lines. But so what that does right there is, so where it turns to the north and to the west, that's just a bushwhack up to, thank you, and up right up, right, and then goes to the Blue Red Trail, and that's on Ragged Mountain. So, and then the rest of it is just me walking down right there. Continue. That's the Blue Red Trail on Ragged Mountain. And then I called my son, and then he didn't come pick me up. So keep going. And he did come pick me up when I was at the corner of Woodhaven and West Lane, all the way there. So I gave him hell after that. But so this part right here, Michael, and committee, I know you can't see. This is Wigwam Road. Wigwam Road revisited, and that this is an approximation of how we would get to, and the cliffs are over here and stuff like this. That's an approximation of how we would get to the Blue Red Trail, which runs, it's like it helps to circle Ragged Mountain. So it's a really neat spot, by the way. Wigwam Road is an ancient road. Some people say it ran from Meriden all the way to New Britain, Edgewood Road. It's a really, really cool spot. Some people, I've heard that there's a transient Native American encampment there, perhaps even a burial ground. Really, really cool. I'll take anybody there. They want to go.
What kind of access is there on the bottom of Westboro Road?
Well, it's actually, there's none right now. It's posted. I had to have somebody drop me off, or I had to call police dispatch. So
There's no place to park.
not right now. I'll leave that to James.
Yeah, I guess we'll take it a step at a time, right? Again, we're not planning on having parking at Reservoir Road. We can revisit that, and also Sanctuary, but we have the parking at West Lane, and hopefully that will expand. And we have obviously lots of parking at Timberland. So it's a good start, and we'll develop it as we go. And the other thing related to this is that Woody was able to cut in the initial portion of the trail on the new Reservoir Road parcel that we acquired. So if you drive by, you can see that, and we'll have to, now scout that out. Maybe if the ground hardens up, be a good time to scout out, the best way to cross the wet area there. And, we're kind of, again, long-term projects, but step by step.
That'll have to be across John Hall Brook. That'll have to be a
A bridge. Yeah.
Great.
All right. Well, thank you all. If anybody has any questions, happy to answer. Otherwise, I'll duck out to the Berlin Land Trust meeting.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks all. Have a good night.
Oh, two.
Take care, Jim.
Me too.
Bye-bye.
No, that's just fun. It's like, that road has been there since before those Harts Ponds were. So we're talking. Oh, hundreds of years. for sure. Oh, yeah, no, that's true, but I think, there's no good place for access there. In fact, right now, I'm gonna stop talking because I need to get out here, but so nobody else can talk, right? But, so the Metacomet Trail comes down off of Short Mountain, crosses Cary Street, no parking. Comes off private land, crosses Cary Street, private land, goes up Ragged Mountain Road, which is private road, no parking. And then goes up Ragged Mountain. So the climbers, actually the technical climbers, they park across what's the name of it? Cary Street, Andrews. They park across Andrews. So there's no access, and it's just, and there's not going to be, because I don't think the sightlines are that good. But with the advantage of this is that it, in the future, if that private access goes away to the north, we have public access for trailing, can't be preempted, which it could be now. And that could be.
What is that, the gray parcel of reservoir?
I don't know.
The water
So,
company?
yeah, it's what, I think it's water company. Well, no, this is all water company. I don't know what this is, but that is this is a private residence. The only one on Sanctuary Lane. See, Sanctuary Lane Paved Park ends right there. The only other, this is a little bit, one of our former colleagues on the commission has a small parcel. Just to, I believe, just to the north.
Very interesting.
So anyway, I'm done.
Michael, just while we're on that, with what Jim was talking about, with the POCD, you ended up, Jim Mahoney sent you that, right?
Yep.
So that Maureen will have access to that.
Yep.
And I just wanted to make sure that you caught me, right? Trying to get that out. I had
It worked.
another meeting right before this, so it was like,
Yeah.
send it out, and I forgot to put her on.
Oh,
It's a copy of her on the email, so I just wanted to make sure. She gets it.
Yeah.
Because I know that she was one.
Sure.
Thank you, guys, for taking care of that too. All right, we gotta go back to the beginning for a little bit of housekeeping first. That's those minutes.
That we accept the
Second.
minutes as written.
Gosh, Rob, you gotta have some.
I got some revised a little bit.
Yes, you did.
So I'm not good. Read it a while ago, so.
So all in favor of accepting minutes as written? Aye. Thank you. Thank you for approving it, guys. Okay, so site plan. So I'm just gonna go through these and, I can pretty much see a few things that aren't relevant to us, but first one, site plan amendment, outdoor classroom refugee school. We basically looking to put a concrete pad and we're standing the roof over it for teaching. I'm not sure if this
It's on school property, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. This guy goes.
No, I was gonna say, I don't have a template ready yet.
I was gonna say, we were gonna try not to say no comment, but
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
I'm sorry, that's right.
but what I was kind of looking at and working, put a little bit of time into, was a little bit like it's not really a flow chart. But if it has,
Then you go there.
then you hear the questions issues that'll come off of that. If it doesn't have that, or, then, so we'll be able to do a process and probably only have a handful of initial questions, like, is there town property adjacent? Is there wetlands or a stream? Is it, some basic things like that. Is it the existing footprint? Is
Does it add
already
impervious
or-
surface?
Right.
Right.
It'll have a few things like that, and then we'd be so then, if there's something in the plan that we can't tell on that, then it would just lead us to some default questions that we would have because they're not shown in the plan, or they're unclear to us based on the plan.
That is a great idea.
So I think that's where I'm going with that, and I think that.
Oh, there isn't any plan on that one anymore.
I know.
Oh, yeah, we wanted that.
But obviously not ready for that yet. I think we can just keep, I'm not gonna make a big deal. I think we can, for something like that, that we all know the property. And any of those initial things that
right.
would pop up out of this one. We used to have the outdoor classrooms, the outdoor,
Temporary stuff.
the temporary
Yeah.
stuff all there before.
So the second thing is special permit site plan for virtual golf on Bend Road. Industrial area.
There is that one, was one of the Webster, one of the books goes.
Are they adding, anything?
I mean, it's a brand new building that they put in.
They did put that virtual golf place in already, though.
Yeah.
Right, so.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
is
that
there
building went
anything-
up and the golf went in like right away.
But is there anything, is
Right.
this in
So-
addition to that?
It looks like parking, existing building, correct. Bill, do you know anything about this? Feel free to
He's,
straighten us up.
he's just come in a few times with questions for Maureen.
What would be the special?
But I think he needs to go in front of wetlands. So you have that stream that's back here.
So what's being added, is the question.
Yeah, where does he want to put the more parking?
Around the existing building, so it says possible parking, proposed parking, lot area.
Is it in the back of the building?
Yeah, it is.
Well, actually,
See, so that's where the
yeah,
well-
all four
Yes,
sides.
that's
On
not
all
just a
floors.
wetland, it's.
Yeah.
Well, so
Right
this
to the
must
river.
be the
Is
existing,
that,
right?
is that a river there or stream?
Where's the
Yeah.
existing?
It just says
So-
proposed
Existing looks like it's towards the front by the road. So if you look at the
Yeah.
parking.
picture,
Got it?
it's just a small
Yeah,
kind of beat up piece of asphalt coming off the street.
So you're talking about this right here?
Yeah, I think that's the only.
Yeah,
parking
yeah,
that's
that's right. And he's talking about everything here. Yeah, there's definitely, that's not a best room right there, yeah, so.
Yeah,
So
there's
that's a
number of
concern.
spaces in the back, 15 spaces.
see, that's where we face these things
Right.
time after time, because you look at the next property over.
They've got, right,
And
they've
look at
built,
what they allowed them to do with that.
right.
Yep, right
And
up.
that's what he-
But how old is that though?
Yeah, I know, so.
You know,
But
so.
that, no, so I'm not saying that it should be a yes, I think that's Because there's a real concern about putting additional impervious cover and automobiles and stuff.
That near,
That close to, as close as what the property next door already has.
That's a good concern. It is. Hear how, things
We have to
Well, I
make that a
mean,
motion,
I think-
or do we just put that down as a comment?
I think it's, I'll defer to Guy on that, but I think it's, it's a concern for sure.
Right,
Consensus comment, I think it's appropriate and,
And I mean, what are you doing in terms of taking out, like in terms of I don't know what the topography looks like, how it slopes to the,
right. How will that parking lot surface?
how, what does it do now? I don't
Right.
know. Does it slope down to the river? I'm sure it doesn't slope up to the river.
Yeah, so I,
Yeah. It's gotta
right-
go down.
right here,
Oh,
or
I see,
so,
yeah.
it's a fairly steep drop down to the river.
you think the wetlands, layer too?
It's probably pretty narrow on that side because it's all.
And then this
built
is the floodplain here.
What's the purple?
Floodplain.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So once again, right, the building. I mean, this is one of those things that's real tough because you see it happen time and time again where they kind of hit you in phases. You got approval for
Right.
the building.
Yeah.
And the building's already up. And
Realize,
I have to assume that to get approval from planning and zoning initially, that whatever is out front had to suffice for sufficient parking. Or else they wouldn't have put it in, right? You wouldn't
Right.
approve it
Unless it had parking.
unless it had the appropriate parking.
So I think when it comes to parking, I don't think in the regulations, it distinctly parking for the use that's there wasn't in the regulations. So it was at the discretion of the planning and zoning commission to determine how much parking would be appropriate for that use.
But,
And they may
But the
have
plan-
approved
but
what's
the-
there, and now the guy wants more.
right, but out of the approval was not anything that was in floodplain. Which has got to be where they're looking,
so what, right, so
it's like,
the concern is that they're replacing impervious surface with pervious,
Pervious surface
Yeah.
with impervious surface.
And it's directly contiguous to the Manifest River, which is not attacked.
and an existing floodplain.
Yeah.
Backside.
and we're talking about.
And where is that hard surface gonna drain?
Yeah.
It's gonna go right, it's gonna go.
What do you think? We're
Yeah.
draining that,
In
Yeah,
any kind of.
except something like go
starts and-
down first.
Because you got a little filter buffer before it gets into the river, this is gonna run right off.
And it is parking. It doesn't leave much of a place to have any kind of storage or stormwater or anything. We're talking about like drain right in or pipe right in.
It's exactly what the parking lot to the right is doing, I'm sure.
And you wonder why Matavasi River doesn't walk these things.
Plus any fluids leaking out there.
But this piecemeal kind of stuff, it's.
So I think that your comments or our comments are appropriate.
Commission is concerned about replacing impervious surface with pervious surface. Other than that,
Switch, other way around.
Michael had it the wrong way.
That's what he told you.
I mean, it's-
I should put down that I had reverse. Yes.
here,
And where this impervious surface will drain to, right, due to the close proximity to Bethanath Acid. tributary.
Yeah, because that's probably the best route.
It is in that passage, yeah.
It is on there?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because we have two trips that go through pretty close to where it cross. And
All right.
Good comments.
Yep, good comments. So, Carl's got 3 additional plans. He's gonna have to make a motion to add to.
So I'm gonna make a motion to add the following 3 lands, applications to our agenda this evening. One is entitled, Special Permit Site Plan Amendment, J.R. Clisham, 2200 Berlin Turnpike. The second is entitled Special Permit Site Plan Amendment, CCARC Incorporated Prince of Peace Church. And the third is entitled Proposed Amendment Concerning Funeral Homes. Applicant on that is Benjamin Peterson.
Oh, second, sorry.
Right.
This order, I guess.
Who's the funeral one?
All right, so 2200 Berlin Turnpike wants to make self-storage units, so. Yep, self-storage.
is that where the driving range was?
See,
Yeah, it's not a-
Oh, this is new construction.
no, it's not exactly there. No.
Oh.
It's across from Sawmill. Orchard Road.
Oh, this is the,
Okay.
yeah, so like the 4th one is.
Yeah, so it's for
22,000.
Yeah. Get the motel. One of them.
So-
Is that- But this should be new park.
This is where I think Michael's talking about it. That's the part, this is the horse. Right.
So it's on the west side. Okay. And it's not the part that's.
Yeah, so if you find Overhill Road. And it's, yeah, that was it, I think.
Yeah, that's it. The old vacant lot.
So you got what, absolute.
Yeah,
You're saying that was
absolutely.
a
There's this, and I know this doesn't translate. This is absolute auto right here. This is where they do the service, it's, sales. Right here, absolute auto. That's the other place that's kind of like
The
a.
gas station, Lakeview, whatever.
No, that's a different kind. It used to advertise as like Italian cars or something like that, I think.
Yeah.
But
Just to the south is the.
yeah, so right here, yeah, right here's that
Oh, yeah.
golf course.
Yeah. All right,
Oh, that was Safari Golf?
Safari golf. Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
So this is that, long, it's been long vacant. I don't even know if anything was ever there, you know what I mean?
Water.
It looks like there's houses, there'll be houses right behind it. So,
Yeah. Yep. Some elevation to it.
there's no wetlands there, is there?
Not that I think it misses that. That's where the other two properties, like where the golf range is.
Okay.
Or if they were on the other side, you would have.
Oh, yeah, there, you got it, teeny
Yeah.
little corner.
But the other stuff is all to the north. Park and then it goes across and stuff. Yeah. So that's what I was concerned, is that if it was the, other one with the golf course, that stretches out more than what you would think.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's a two-story building in the middle. They've got a 50-foot buffer for residential spaces behind it. Like flag letters. Undisturbed space. Action pond.
I would say, the only thing I'd say is that, is there anything in that extreme northwest corner? That I would think that the building is kind of centered, because that's the only
Yeah.
place where the wetland. So, if they stay out of that.
So should we
So
say,
maybe it's a comment, then we should say, as long as.
I was gonna say, should we say something like based on the plans as of
Right.
whatever date or
Yeah.
as of
Yeah.
current plans?
It
There
looks
doesn't
like
seem to be an issue since it
with the,
undisturbed the wetland area,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that. That's what we want, right? I'd like to be consistent with the plan.
Based on the current plan shared with the Conservation Commission, there be any concerns except or keeping the piece of wetland as an undisturbed area, the northwest one.
Yes.
Get that one off.
Thank you, Robert. So this one is the Prince of Peace and 1103 Chamber Highway, or former Prince of Peace Church. Which
Yeah, they sold it up, or they're selling it.
CCARC, private nonprofit that offers a continuing service for people with intellectual.
Are they changing the footprint at all?
Nope.
No, I have.
Services, great residential advocacy. It's mostly interior. They estimate 50 to 60 people.
It's a day program. There's no footprint change.
Nope, the heaviest traffic, at no time will there be a line of people dropping off, it moves quickly and safely.
If it did, that's not what we're concerned.
It will not be leaks with site.
It's a nice use for the building. Let's do that.
Now-
Create a ramp.
You ever been in there?
No.
It's a small church.
Yeah.
With the way things are going sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's Lutheran church.
Lutheran church, and if you recall, the minister was Fred Rapp, just a fantastic fellow, was a member of the
Yeah.
commission.
Yeah.
Just a great guy.
The
Which
only,
reminds me that they had an agreement with the town to allow us access.
yes,
That's right.
that's what I was just gonna bring up.
Okay, so,
That was never a formal,
it was not, and at this point, Jim might disagree with me, but to bring anything through that property brings it through a significant area of wet and invasives that I don't even think it's worth. So just to refresh your memory,
I remember going through there to gain access to some of the bridges and
correct, there's
raised.
so if you want to go there, we can, but all I can tell you is that, just to the, yeah, it's a nightmare.
My recollection is too that most of the resistance was Jason Davis didn't want,
One adjacent.
did not want people.
But I think that from an
Oh, I
aesthetic,
remember. She
from-
called us all.
yeah,
Oh, that was long.
so, but from an aesthetic standpoint,
Oh,
no, he doesn't, but if you want to go to.
1103 Chamberlain.
Oh, yeah, this is it right here.
So if, I said I'd shut up, but, so the trail right now.
There's a
Yeah,
layer,
thanks.
right? The trails.
No, the trail goes south. Comes out, south of here on Chetkowski's. Road walks this way and then cuts down. Maybe this again, this is blue. So anyway, this
I
is.
thought there was a right of way or like a 50-foot swath that-
Here,
right there where your finger is.
I went, I'm gonna tell you when it was in 2007 or 2008, and talked to the, whatever they call it, the parish council. I'm a Catholic, so I don't know how to speak Lutheran, but so we negotiated something that went out here. But the fact is that it's so difficult to get anything through here that I'm willing to let it go. I don't know if Jim Mahoney is. You know, we could probably claim something, but we haven't run a trail through there in 10 years, maybe longer. So
Is the,
see this right here? This is actually, I don't know if that's man-made, that's a waterway. Everything down here is very wet, and this is choked with basins through here. So if you go, can you go south, Dylan? So, to be honest with you, right now, the trail comes out, see that? This is the trail, right here. This, yeah, right, exactly. This is the trail, and it's much better. It comes out through townland, and while the road walk isn't perfect, you hardly even have to maintain this. We have some bog bridges in here, and this is Old Orchards over here. So I never want, I used to maintain that the way to the north, and I never wanted to maintain the trail.
the wooden structures that we worked on, that were worked on at that
Yes,
point in time, are they still there for that trail that would be to the north?
there was nothing, there was
I
nothing.
thought, I,
No, there was a bridge, but that's somewhere completely different.
okay, because I was thinking that along, not too far from the private property that had concerns about people walking by. we had-
Oh, yeah, that was some different, but there's no, the bridge that you're talking about was actually a very big bridge. And that was, if you want to pull it this way, actually the other way, sir.
Sorry.
So, yeah, no worries. That big bridge is actually
Yeah,
this
there's,
way. It's down here.
oh, okay, yeah.
So, yeah, no, CFPA has done a great job, and there's some more bridging, if you go up, sir. Some more bridging here. Something like there. So there's plenty of bridging, but the only in the area contiguous to the Chamberlain Highway, the only bog bridges are south of the that's a piece.
I mean, as long as, should we just say, have a comment if Jim Mahoney is good with giving up that access, or?
Well, I say maybe we should put it a little bit more optimistically. The town would be interested in maintaining any existing access, or the Conservation Commission would like to.
That way we had with the previous.
Yeah, with the previous owner. That way we don't lose anything. I know Jim doesn't lose anything.
Yeah,
For me, I just had to hack through invasive every 3 weeks, you know what I mean? So I'm not really optimistic about that trail.
And just maybe say that, you know, that's a call for town staff.
Yeah, I
Out of
mean,
this, I mean,
can I
that,
make-
that,
can I-
that there was an informal arrangement with the previous landowner. We
Right,
need to see if the town is interested in trying to maintain that access with the new owner.
Yeah, I think we should say something like that, that we were aware that that
Yeah.
existed, whether we do anything with it or not.
I'm good with that, yeah, of course.
All right, she needs us to phrase that properly.
Because I couldn't possibly.
Yeah, I think that, right? That
So,
it was an informal arrangement with
with
the previous landowner.
allowing access through the property to connect to pieces of open space that are nearby, and the town, we recommend that the town reserves the right to.
To maintain that.
For the Conservation Commission recommends that the town continue having that access.
Working with the new
And they say
owner
nothing.
to- Because working with the new owner to continue that.
Yeah, that's good. We're
Yeah.
gonna do it.
Right.
Berlin
Oh,
Land
the
Trust,
funeral.
by the way, the Berlin Land Trust just agreed to join. Oh, you took it.
So the funeral home, so the existing Brookside crematory
Oh, yeah,
on
right next to the historic cemetery.
Christian Lane.
Yes, right next to the historic Christian. Land
You
Cemetery.
may or may not be aware that it's
I
there,
didn't
but
even know that. Yeah, crematory.
it's a little brick building right before
Maybe
the
people are dying.
We get a town discount.
It's right before
Wow.
the junkyard, part, right?
It's directly to the, next to the, historic Christian Lane.
Yeah.
Burying ground, or whatever, that's the original burying ground. You know where it is?
No, I'm thinking it's.
Deming Road,
Okay,
Christian,
Yeah.
Christian Lane,
yeah,
right here. Deming Road,
You go through the light, and
Yeah.
it's on your left-hand side, right after the light.
oh, okay, okay.
crematorium right there.
So you
Looks
take
like an
you take a
auto
right at the end and then it's on the left.
If you're at the end of Deming Road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take a right onto Christian Lane, you'll see the cemetery there, very historic cemetery on your left, and then the next building, they'll party up.
So right next to.
At the end of Deming, you take a right, you said?
Yes,
Yeah.
See, I never go that way. I always.
we are all going that way, so.
I don't even-
Sorry.
Oh.
What are we
So is it that building right there?
It's right.
Right here, yeah.
No, not that one.
Oh, yeah, it's, this, so the cemetery is. Deming, yeah,
That's
so
the junkyard.
Yeah, that's what he called. The place that's got the nice garden all the time.
I think it's,
Oh, where's the cemetery, man? Where they moved it? No, no, it's,
Oh, they just built a house over.
They were
it. Go buy it.
oh, that might be right there. No, it can't be. No, it's right there.
No, that was the junkyard there, the car. Keep going down. So,
No, we got this wrong, man.
there you go.
No, all right.
So what's that, so
This
that's
is supposed to be the
that.
cemetery.
What's the building right below that?
CRP, that's fine.
What's that, right where to the left of your mouse? What is that? What parcel is that?
That's a house, right?
It's a house. Keep clicking.
Keep clicking.
North, or whatever that is. No. more.
CRP,
Hold on.
Oh, no, keep coming down this way. It's a little bit to this way.
453 Christian Lane.
Wow.
Oh, yes, there's the
There,
cemetery,
oh,
right?
okay.
Oh,
On the
okay.
Berlin.
So it's a little ways down.
Yeah, see, the
Yes.
building is long, so you don't see it. 'cause it goes
Right,
back.
okay.
That's it. Right.
Right.
Thank you.
We were in the right place.
Probably figured that that was part of the junk.
Yeah.
Well.
So if you, I'm just curious,
So,
with this, if you zoom out just a little bit, it's right there. Okay, because there's the stream, that's what I'm wondering, because you got the brook that runs there.
What do they want to do?
so the zone,
So it's not, it's not,
it's not zoned for funeral home use, and they want, because they have to take the bodies first to the funeral home in Britain and then bring them over there. They want to be able to bring them directly to the crematory. And in order to do that, there has to be a special amendment for, they call it, partial funeral home.
I would have no comment on this. It's kind of spooky.
yeah, I mean, they're not talking about changing any.
No, it's just kind of like a
It's-
zoning
it's- it's
thing.
a-
or
yeah,
So you're
reservation.
not, you're not
Yeah,
seeking
we got-
a full
we got
service
nothing on that.
funeral home. It is narrowly tailored to comply with state requirements for crematories and reduce the cost of cremation for families.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, this one, I think it's truly.
Yeah, this
Okay.
one's, yeah, I mean, this would be the first thing.
Yeah, no
Right, it's like-
change.
Out of our purview.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Which,
even. know
which
that.
means that like I have to add another category.
Far out of our purview, right?
And they're not changing their drainage at all.
Can I say, if
So-
you're gonna say something like that, I'll say that there's a boneyard to the north.
Because I was just curious, because I used to sample the stream right there, just to the south. See where the wetland, yeah, right there.
Yeah.
There's the brook that runs.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The DEP
Just for me, I think that's a true no comment.
That's it, right? That's it. You guys, I just had one, to put there. Marlo, for the garden. Working on a certificate for,
You know, Maureen never gave it back to me.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
She said-
that's
She
what I
said
was-
that there were like some slight changes or
Yes.
something to it, but yeah.
She was gonna give it back to me. I don't think she did, and I was.
sorry, thank you, sorry, guy.
No, just this one, I keep forgetting about, I always, been painting the butt over the years, but, projects that don't use silk fences. I don't know how many years this project wants to go without silk fences, but, so far they've gone a long time. At the corner of Savage Hill and Spruce Brook, site of our town property and everything. One of the new houses on the corner that replaced the old house. They've had this dirt pile for like a year.
Isn't the one on the corner done?
Yeah, the next
The
house,
next one over.
the next house that they squeezed in
Yes,
between.
between the green one.
You can
and the
even,
corn.
after a storm, you can even look, I don't know why the neighbor was complaining, because he gets dirt down into his driveway with the storm. But they're digging in the back now too. There hasn't been a silt fence on that property. since they
Corner of
started.
Savage.
And the dirt pile is right next to the road.
It's across from Pistol Creek.
Oh, I think, yeah, I know, I think, yeah.
And I
think
don't know
what you're talking
who they
about.
are that doing it, but people must have seen it other than me. And I went by a couple weeks ago with a good storm, and it's just, it gets into the road, it gets into the neighbors. Like I said, I don't know why he doesn't complain.
Right down to the store here.
And the dirt pile is probably, no, it's before, right, it's before they put it in.
Yeah.
And
It's right in
it's that one
hole
that's,
there.
yeah,
in
it's
middle.
the hole in between the two,
Right there, yep, that property.
and the dirt pile is
You know, like,
right.
you, pass
at
that
the
on
road.
to the zoning enforcement?
I don't think there's any silt fencing, any.
No,
Right.
and
It's
now
not even
they're,
like the
now
kind
they're
of
digging
small
out back
thing.
too,
I mean,
and
that's.
Yeah.
moving dirt around. And there's there's never been something.
That's ridiculous.
Is it individual builder or is it the same one that's built the other houses?
I don't know, it might have been a
They are kind of
different
all
one
in a similar
because,
style.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It's-
because it was the last one to go in.
Yeah.
Anyway. So,
Thank you for pointing that out.
I'll pass that on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dylan, thank you very much.
Yes.
For suffering through this.
Oh, no suffering at all. Motion to adjourn?
All right.
All right.